Pakistan has a rich history of large civilizations, wars, development, religions, and reforms. Modern humans are believed to have arrived in Pakistan between 73,000 and 55,000 years ago. Settled life, which included farming and pastoralism, began around 700 BC. People worked in agriculture and domesticated animals like goats, sheep, or cattle. By 4500 BC, settled life had become more widespread and eventually evolved into the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the earliest civilizations. The Indus Valley Civilization, along with ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, was known for developing new techniques in handicraft, metallurgy, and development. It is believed to be the first civilization to use wheeled transport in the form of bullock carts and also used boats. The route that traversed the Indus Valley, linking Central Asia, the Indian subcontinent, and the Orient, attracted people from far places. In the beginning of the second millennium BC, climate change with persistent drought led to the abandonment of the urban centers of the Indus Valley Civilization. Its population resettled in smaller villages and mixed with Indo-Aryan tribes, who moved into other areas of the Indian subcontinent in several waves of migration, also driven by the effects of this climate change. The Vedic period, which lasted from 1500 to 500 BC, saw the arrival of Indo-Aryans who migrated and settled into the Indus Valley. Along with them came their distinctive religious traditions and practices which fused with local culture. The initial early Vedic culture was a tribal, pastoral society, centered in the Indus Valley, of what is today Pakistan. During this period, the Vedas, the oldest scriptures of Hinduism, were composed. The Vedic tribes remained in the Indus Valley until the 6th century BC. These tribes fought against one another and were vulnerable to possible outsiders or invasions. King Darius I of the Achaemenid Empire took advantage of the opportunity and planned for an invasion. The Indus Valley was a major objective for the Persian Empire, and other earlier incursions and campaigns existed in the Indus River. In 518 BC, Darius led his army through the Khyber Pass, eventually reaching the Arabian Sea coast in Sind by 516 BC. Under Persian rule, a system of centralized administration, the bureaucratic system, was introduced into the Indus Valley for the first time. Provinces or satrapy were established with provincial capitals. However, there is no archaeological evidence of Achaemenid control over these regions, as not a single archaeological site that can be positively identified with the Achaemenid Empire has been found anywhere in Pakistan. We know about the easternmost satraps, and the borderlands of the Achaemenid Empire are set in Darius inscriptions and from Greek sources. In 328 BC, Alexander the Great, at that time king of Macedonia, king of Persia, and pharaoh of Egypt, had conquered much of the former satraps in the Achaemenid Empire up to Bactria. When Alexander died in 323 BC, he left behind an expansive empire stretching from Greece to the Indus River. The empire was put under the authority of Perdiccas, and the territories were divided among Alexander's generals. Due to the internal conflicts of Alexander's generals, Chandragupta and his Brahmin counselor Chanakya saw an opportunity to expand the Mauryan Empire from its Ganges plain heartland in Bihar towards the Indus Valley between 325 BC to 303 BC. The Mauryan Empire incorporated today's Pakistan and far beyond in today's Afghanistan. It collapsed around 180 BC, and the Shunga Empire started to exist, but not near the Indus Valley. Alexander's campaigns in this region led to the establishment of Greek communities that influenced the local culture. The Indo-Greek kingdom expanded beyond the Hindu Kush, covering Panjshir and Kapisa in modern Afghanistan and extending to the Punjab region, with many tributaries to the south and east. The Greek and Indian languages, culture, and traditions mixed, creating a very interesting period for this land. Between the middle of the 2nd century BC and the 1st century BC, Sarkis migrated from southern Central Asia into Pakistan, replacing the Indo-Greeks. The Indo-Parthian and Kushan empires ruled the lands here in the 1st centuries AD. By the end of the 3rd century, the Sassanid Shahanshah, Shapur-I, had incorporated the Indo-Iranian borderlands into the Sassanid realm. The Gupta Empire existed from approximately 320 to 600 and covered much of northern South Asia, including some parts of modern Pakistan, having its border with the Sassanid Empire in the Indus Valley across the Indus River. This period saw great accomplishments and cultural developments during the reigns of important leaders. For example, literary epics such as Mahabharata and Ramayana were composed. This structure collapsed due to internal and external factors, such as loss of territories, invasions, and instability. The Indo-Hephthalites were a nomadic confederation in Central Asia during the late Antiquity period. They were defeated by an alliance of Indian rulers. The Brahmin dynasty existed in the region of Sindh between 632 and around 724. The territory inside the borders of Pakistan has witnessed many small states throughout history. Another important period of this land is the expansion of the Arab caliphates. A large expansion happened in the 7th century when Arab forces, after conquering the Middle East and the Sassanid Empire, reached the Indus Valley. Muhammad bin Qasim conquered most of the Indus region for the Umayyad Empire. During the time of Arab caliphates, a gradual conversion to Islam happened as the new religion spread more and more. Also, Arabic and Persian languages spread and influenced the region. The Ghaznavid Empire, and then the Ghurid Empire ruled for centuries over the Indus Valley and beyond. By doing so, the new culture and religion was embraced by more and more people, becoming dominant over time. The Delhi Empire was a sultanate based in Delhi that stretched over large parts of India, ruling over the largest rivers here and also deep in India's territory. This sultanate was ruled by 5 dynasties: Memluk, Khalji, Tughlaq, Sayyid, and Lodi. During the Delhi Sultanate, the emergence of the Hindi-Urdu language started to happen. There was a synthesis of Indian civilization and that of Islamic civilization, and the further integration of the Indian subcontinent with the growing world system and wider international networks spanning large parts of Afro-Eurasia, which had a significant impact on Indian culture and society. The region was attacked by Mongols between the 13th and 14th centuries. Timur invaded the Punjab region and sacked cities at the end of the 14th century. The First Battle of Panipat, fought between the invading forces of Babur and the Lodi kingdom, marked the beginning of the Mughal Empire and the end of the Delhi Sultanate. This was one of the earliest battles involving gunpowder, firearms, and field artillery in the Indian subcontinent, which were introduced by the Mughals in this battle. The early modern period started with the Mughal Empire. Mughal rule was briefly interrupted by the Sur Empire. The religion of Sikhism originated during this era in the Punjab province of Pakistan. Mughal rule was a time of economic development, prosperity, and peace for Pakistan, which lasted nearly 2 centuries and was also the golden age of the region. The Mughal dynasty greatly influenced the art, architecture, and culture of today's Pakistan. During the decline of the Mughals in the late 18th and early 19th century, other dynasties invaded and then controlled the region. Over these lands ruled the Durrani Empire, the Marathas, and the Sikh Empire. Most of the territory of modern Pakistan was occupied by the East India Company of the British Empire. A series of conflicts followed in the region, in which the British fought local rulers, Sikhs, and Afghans. Pakistan became part of British rule later than other parts of South Asia, and it stayed this way until August 14, 1947, when Pakistan gained independence. In 1947, the 2 provinces of British India, Punjab and Bengal, were divided along religious lines, leading to violence and conflicts between Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims. Millions of people migrated to the new borders, and some exchanges of population took place. The dispute over Kashmir escalated into the first war between India and Pakistan. In 1956, Pakistan declared itself an Islamic republic with the adoption of a parliamentary democratic system of government. Another conflict with India took place between April 1965 and September 1965. Economic grievances and political disenfranchisement in East Pakistan led to violent political tensions escalating into a civil war. Pakistan was defeated in the war, and this led to the independence of Bangladesh. Between 1971 and 1977, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto created an Islamic socialist system. In 1977, after a coup, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was executed. The Islamic law was imposed, and political crises, new elections, and instabilities existed until this day. An important fact of the period of modern Pakistan is their population boom. If 35 million people lived in this region when they achieved independence, by 1990, around 100 million people lived here. Today, more than 200 million people live in Pakistan. I hope this helps.